Hey, Brian from SnakeBytes here. Today I'm going to share with you the tools that I think you need to be a successful snake breeder. And later in the show, I'm going to bring you guys along on what could be one of the most exciting clutches that BHB has ever cut. You're watching SnakeBytes. One of the first things that I think is so important if you're deciding to dedicate your life to be either a reptile breeder or working with animals is passion. One of my first snakes I ever got was a boa constrictor, just like this one. Its name was King, and it started a lifelong passion for reptiles and all animals for that matter. So when people ask me, Brian, how do I get started? Or what do I need to do? The first thing I say is always make sure that you love the animals. Don't ever go after it for anything but the passion of the animals. So whether you're working with a boa constrictor, a ball python, a corn snake, or a bearded dragon, always make sure you work with animals that you're going to be extremely passionate about. Now you guys know BHB works with tons of animals, and you're probably asking yourself, Brian, do you really love each and every one of them? Well, the truth is I really do, but I do want to talk about one project that I kind of have a love-hate relationship with, and that's blood pythons. Let's go take a look. What clutch of eggs does Brian still consider to be his most exciting clutch of eggs he's ever hatched? A, his first corn snakes, B, the very first pinstripe, or C, his very first piebald ball python? Go ahead and answer down below in the comments and check back later in the show to see if you're right. On this week's Reptile Report and SnakeBytesTV Spotlight, we'll be highlighting boa constrictors. Go ahead and check out the URL down below or click on the link in the description. Alright, so blood pythons. Let me start off by saying when I was 15 years old, I bought a book from John Mertens called Living Snakes of the World, and there was a baby blood python picture in it, and I absolutely fell in love with the animal. Now, it took me a few years before I got my very first blood python, and right after I got it, I noticed that I didn't really like working with them. I thought they were gorgeous snakes, but they were a little mean, they were kind of dirty, and I just didn't really like their attitude. So I kept them for a year or two, and I got rid of them because I just wasn't into them anymore. Well, a year later, I wanted them again. Now this relationship went on 4 times, believe it or not. I kept getting blood pythons, a year later getting rid of them because I just didn't like them. And finally, about 2 years ago, I got some more blood pythons, some albinos this time, and I've absolutely fallen in love with them. And we're about 2 years into keeping them now, and I still love them to death. But my point is, guys, even if it's a good investment to hang on to an animal, but you don't enjoy working with them, it's not going to do you well to work with that project. So make sure you keep that passion for each animal you work with. Then the next step is going to be persistence. Let's go ahead and look at a couple projects that I had to be extremely persistent about. Let me tell you the fable of the granite Burmese python. When I was younger, granite Burmese pythons came onto the scene and everyone was going crazy about them. And Burmese were really hot back then. So I bought my first pair of albino double het granite Burmese pythons. They were $25,000 for the pair. That's right, for heterozygous animals, $25K. Well, unfortunately, by the time I produced the albino granites, they were $250 a piece. That's right, from $25,000 to $250 a piece. Now, why am I telling you? Because I was persistent. I didn't give up on the project. It took me a number of years, obviously, to make my $25,000 back, $200 at a time. But 7 years into the project, I was in the black. Now, I loved working with Burmese pythons, and I still do to this day. So it was okay that the price came down. I stuck with the project, and I eventually turned out working it out into a profitable adventure. So you have to stay extremely persistent. And this isn't the only project. I've got other ones. Let's go take a look. So I've talked about the sunset ball python project a handful of times in Snake Bites recently, but I really haven't talked about the persistence of that project. I want to tell you guys the backstory of it. 7 years before I proved the animal out, I bought a male out of West Africa for $70,000. Now I was convinced it was going to be a co-dominant mutation. I raised him up, I bred him, and sure enough, all the babies came out looking normal. I was completely crushed, and I almost gave up on the project thinking that there's no way it could be recessive. Well, 5 years later, I finally bred them, and guess what? We produced the very first beautiful sunset last year. Now, if I would have completely given up on that project, this mutation would never have entered into the ball python realm, and all the incredible mutations that are going to come from this over the next several years would have been completely wiped out. So my point is, if you believe and are passionate about something, make sure you stay persistent, even if the market seems like it's completely not what you expected. And that's why I want to talk about banana ball pythons right now. So there's been a lot of belly aching about banana ball pythons this year, and what it really comes down to is last year at the very start of the year, they were $25,000, and now you can pick them up for about $2,500. That's a big drop, I understand, but what's really important, again, is to stick to a project. Yeah, if you paid 25 grand, it's gonna hurt a lot. But if you got into it for 10 grand and now they're 2,500, or hell, even if they're 1,500 or 1,000, they're still gonna be a great investment down the road. Don't panic and freak out. The worst thing you can do if you buy a snake for 10 grand and it goes down to 2,500 is to sell that snake, because then you've lost $7,500. If you hang on to it and breed it, all you have to do is produce multiple babies to get yourself back into black and be profitable. And again, look at how beautiful banana ball pythons are. They very well may be the most incredible ball python out there. So if you give up on that project, you're really silly, because eventually, guys, these are going to be one of the most popular pet ball pythons in the market. I tell you what, it's about sticking to projects. Now I want to move on to the last thing, which is called forward thinking. Don't think of animals as they are today. Think about what they are 3 years from now, or 2 years, or even 5 years from now. Take, for instance, this pastel GHI male. It might be worth $5,500 now, but I have to think, what is it going to be worth when it gets to size and produces? Is it going to be a $1,000 snake, a $1,500 snake? Whatever that price point is, I have to be forward thinking enough to start planning on what direction I want to go. But not just buying into new projects like this, but sometimes trying to get into the latest new project, like this super bamboo male. I looked at the bamboo project a year ago and said, this is going to be a great investment coming forward. I just love the way they look. And when I had the opportunity to pick up some bamboo stuff like this super bamboo male, I jumped all over it because I was forward thinking enough to know that when the market exploded, I wanted to be the producer of that market. And lastly, you want to be a pioneer. When you come across something that's brand new that no one else has, you want to look at it and say, will this actually prove out? Now, unfortunately, sometimes it works out well and sometimes you completely miss. Well, you guys have a special treat right now. I'm actually going to cut the scaleless head to scaleless head clutch for you guys. You're going to live it right along with me. I've got 3 eggs from a scaleless head to scaleless head. Now, my thoughts are there's going to be a super in there, but you only have a 1 in 4 shot of producing it with 3 eggs. I'm definitely hitting a long shot. I'm either going to film the coolest new snake to be produced and you're going to see it, or you're going to see me really disappointed. But I want to take you guys on the journey. You ready for this? Let's go ahead and saddle up and get out of here. All right, so guys, we're heading to go see if this scaleless clutch works out, man. I've been saying for 2 years, I've been talking about this very exact day.
Dude, I didn't sleep a wink last night, like at all. I was up when the alarm went off. I was just laying there in bed, just wondering what's gonna happen.
Dude, in 25 years of breeding snakes, I have never been this nervous, man. This is the most nervous of any clutch I've ever cut. I've just been dreaming, and I've been dreaming about this for years. I mean, for years I've been dreaming about this, and it all comes down to this very moment. I mean, I just think about the fact that if things go well today, and our vision is right, and we hit the odds and hit a scaleless snake, 10 years from now, we're gonna see scaleless ball pythons in pet shops and collections on tables at reptile shows, and it's all gonna be down to this very moment that's about to happen. All right, so let me set this up. We're in the incubator room. We have a clutch of 3 eggs, scaleless to scaleless heads, hoping for a super. Here's the razor blade. You guys ready? I don't know about you. I'm terrified right now. Let's do this. I don't know. No, I'd say that's scaled, right?
Yeah.
It's 1 down. Okay, egg number 2. Be in there, be in there, be in there. Holy crap, it's in! Oh my god, dude!
It hit it! Oh my god! It's a scaleless snake, dude! It is a scaleless ball python!
Scaleless ball python.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah!
Oh, dude! Yeah!
Oh my god.
Dude! Did you see that?
I told you. We hit a scaleless snake, 1 last egg. Can we be so lucky to hit 2?
It looks 100%. 100% scaleless.
Holy crap, dude, a second one!
A second scaleless snake? You guys see this?
3, dude.
Oh my god. Guys, I tell you what, this is another example of passion and persistence. The fact that we hit 2 scaleless snakes, and I knew this project was going to work out. I was so convinced. Tell you what, if you believe in things and you follow through, you're definitely going to achieve. Tell you what, I can't even express to you how excited I am, and I'm so happy to have shared it with you guys. Scaleless ball pythons, people. Ship it. Whew.
All right, guys, you got to see a really big moment for Brian today. Something he's believed in for years and years finally came true. So I want to know, what is something you guys really, truly believe in that one day you hope comes true? Leave a comment below and let us know.
What clutch of eggs does Brian still consider to be his most exciting clutch he's ever hatched? If you said C, his first piebald ball python, you're 100% correct. Good job. So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show and can use some of these tools if you're aspiring to be a snake breeder. And what about that scaleless ball python? That's really going to define the future of BHB for a long time. And as always, guys, I was Facebook and tweeting my way through it. So make sure to follow me over at SnakeBytesTV. Until next week, you've been watching Snake Bites.
Yeah! Oh,